Hi. Today we have a book called Who is My Neighbor? And this is a very old book because this was my book when I was a little girl. Um, but it's about a story about who is my neighbor. And we might think that our neighbor is the person who lives right next door. That's what we say. We always say, I'm going to go over to the neighbor, or our neighbor is this person or that person. But let's see what this book says. And this book is based on a story from the Bible. This is a Jewish lawyer. Look at the little boxes tied on his head and hands. Inside the boxes are texts from the Jewish law. Right here. A box here and a box here. And when they say texts of Jewish law, they don't mean text like on a phone that we text each other. They mean documents, okay, like rules written out. One day when Jesus was teaching, a lawyer asked him a question. Teacher, I want to live with God always. What must I do? Jesus pointed to the box on the lawyer's hand and said, You read the law. What does it say? The lawyer said, The law says I must love God with all my heart, my soul, and my mind. I must love my neighbor as I love myself. Jesus said, That is a good answer. Do this, and you will live with God forever. The lawyer said, But teacher, who is my neighbor? Then Jesus told him a story. This is the story Jesus told. The road from Jerusalem to Jericho is very rough and hilly. There are many sharp turns on both sides. There are big rocks and stones. Robbers often wait behind the rocks. They wait until a traveler comes along. Then they rush out, beat him, and take all his money. Once there was a man who wanted to travel from Jerusalem on this bad road. He wanted to take things to sell in Jericho. His friends told him to wait until some other people were traveling the same way, so it would be safer. But this man would not wait. He said he must go at once. So he put his goods on a donkey and went off alone. For a few miles he did not see anybody. Then he got to a sharp bend. He could not see the road in front. Suddenly some robbers rushed from behind the rocks. They carried big sticks in their hands. They pulled the lonely traveler from his donkey and led it away. Then they took his clothes and his money and beat him to the ground with their heavy sticks. They went away and left the poor man on the road. He had no money and he had many wounds. The first person who saw him was a priest. He was going to Jerusalem to take part in the services in the temple. He saw the man lying on the other side of the road. I'm sure the man who was hurt thought, Yay, someone's coming. And then when he saw it was a priest, I'm sure he was really happy, don't you think? Like, oh, he'll take care of me because he wants to do the right thing. Let's see. The priest was afraid that the man was dead. He remembered what the Jewish law said. If anyone touched a dead man, he must not mix with other people for 7 days. So the priest did not go near the poor man on the road. He passed to the other side. The second traveler to see the wounded man was a Levite. He was on his way to Jerusalem where he helped the priests in the temple services. So again, I'm sure this man that was hurt was very disappointed when the priest didn't help him. But then he probably got excited again when he saw another man coming. Wouldn't you? He went near the wounded man and looked at him. He saw that he was badly hurt, but that he was still alive. But he did nothing. He was afraid that the robbers were still hiding behind the rocks. If he helped the injured man, they might rush out and attack him. So he went away like the priest and passed on the other side. Then came another traveler riding a donkey. He came from Samaria. You know that the Jews and the Samaritans did not like each other. The Samaritan saw the poor man lying on the road. He saw he was a Jew, but at once he went to help. He bathed the man's wounds with wine and oil and tied bandages around them. Then he helped him onto his donkey. The Samaritan walked beside the donkey. He guided it over the rough, stony road. I'm not sure I was holding that good enough. Presently they came to an inn. The Samaritan often stayed there, so he knew the innkeeper. He helped the wounded man in the inn and fed him. They both slept in the inn that night. The next morning, the Samaritan went to look at the Jew. His wounds still gave him pain, and he was weak and could not walk. So the Samaritan called the innkeeper and said, "I must go on, but please take care of this man. Here are 2 shillings. If you spend any more, I will give you the money when I come again." Then Jesus asked the lawyer, "Which one was a true neighbor to the man who fell among thieves? The priest, the Levite, or the Samaritan?" The lawyer said, "The Samaritan, because he was kind to the man." Jesus said, "Go then and do the same. Be kind to everyone who is in trouble." And we need to remember to be kind and loving to everybody. We want to show love to everyone.